All right, so we're diving deep into the world of Bob Camblin. And, I have to say, the stuff you sent over, I mean, it's quite the collection.
Yeah.
Excerpts from an art book and a video essay, and
Yeah.
even like what looks like a super in-depth academic paper.
Yeah.
So, Camblin's work, I mean, it's critically acclaimed,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
But he's not like a household name.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what makes this whole deep dive even more interesting to
Yeah.
me. It's like, who is this guy?
Well, and that's one of the most captivating things about Camblin.
Yeah.
I mean, his work is so sought after by, serious collectors and institutions,
Mm.
but he himself remained very much a mystery.
Mm.
He seemed to really almost actively avoid the spotlight,
Huh.
which makes you think, maybe he wanted the art to speak for itself
Yeah, yeah.
without all the distractions, the fame and all that.
Without the baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and to get to the art, you have to get to the artist. Right. I mean, that's the thing. So the sources we have paint, they kind of paint a picture of his journey. It starts in Oklahoma,
Okay.
studies art,
Hmm.
lands a Fulbright to go and study in Italy,
Wow.
which, I mean, come on, that's huge.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so he goes from teaching at some pretty prestigious universities. We're talking Ringling, University of Illinois, Rice,
Oh, wow. Big time.
like big deal schools.
Yeah.
Then he just ditches it all in the 70s and the 80s
Yeah.
to become this total nomad.
And I think that shift right
Mhm.
there,
Yeah.
that is key to understanding him. It wasn't just about, wanderlust.
Right,
It was
yeah.
deeper than that,
Yeah.
It was like his travels, they directly fed his art.
Yeah.
He was in Italy, France, Ireland, Mexico, the South Pacific even.
The South Pacific.
The South Pacific, yeah.
Wow.
And I think you can see those echoes of these really diverse cultures, the landscapes in his work.
It's like he's absorbing the world and then putting it into his art.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
And speaking of his art, the sources make it clear that Camblin was not stuck in one mode. He starts with abstract impressionism, but then, wait for it, he pioneers this completely unique style.
Yeah.
It's called Mouches Volantes.
I love that.
Oh, I'll admit.
It's a great name.
I had to look it up.
Yeah, yeah. It's fascinating.
What does it mean?
It means flying flies in French.
Flying flies?
Yeah, flying flies. And it really captures, I think, the essence of Camblin's technique. He uses these dots and dashes, almost like fleeting glimpses, right,
Yeah.
to create these optical illusions.
Okay.
And he plays with depth and perspective, like, some other artists you might know.
Okay.
M.C.
I've heard
Escher,
of it.
Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
But, unlike those artists, Camblin, he didn't rely on recognizable shapes, those kind of things.
Right.
He was using these abstract elements to engage the viewer's perception.
So it's not just passive.
No.
You're not just sitting there looking at it. You have to actually participate.
Yes.
You have to your eye has to make the connection.
You have to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, fill in the gaps. Exactly.
And it's, it's almost as if the art itself is in motion.
Yeah.
It's changing as you're looking at it.
Right, and that's what makes it so cool.
It is.
It's it's interactive.
And that interaction, right.
Yeah.
That was really central to his style.
Yeah.
He wanted the viewer to be a co-creator of the art,
Wow.
almost like blurring the lines between reality and illusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this concept, I think it ties back into his nomadic life.
Mm-hmm.
Just as he immersed himself in all these different cultures,
Right.
he wanted the viewer to immerse themselves in the art,
Yeah.
to discover their own interpretations.
To make their own meaning. It's like the art is a reflection of both.
Right.
Of the artist's journey and the viewer's perception. So cool. One of the sources focuses on a specific painting, Montmartre, and it depicts European rooftops.
Okay.
I'm guessing Paris,
Probably.
but, at first glance, you might think, okay, it's just a simple scene, but this is Camblin,
Right.
right? So, I mean, there's got to be more to it. Have you ever looked at, a painting and felt like it was, I don't know, holding secrets?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Like there's a story behind it or something?
There's sure. And
Yeah.
Montmartre is a great example of that. It puts Camblin in this tradition of artists, Caillebotte,
Okay.
Pissarro.
Yeah.
They also painted Parisian rooftops.
Mm-hmm.
But Camblin, he doesn't just imitate them, he takes it further.
Yeah.
He uses that, his Mouches Volantes style
Okay, yeah.
to infuse the scene with this sense of depth and movement.
Oh, wow.
Almost like you're actually standing on one of those rooftops yourself,
Oh, that's so cool.
looking out over the city.
And there's this other detail, and it's mentioned in the sources. There's a red roof studio in Tirnanog.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't actually see it in the painting.
Oh, wow.
What's up with that?
That is interesting. That detail, it's only revealed in the written sources.
Right.
It's almost like, like a key
Yeah.
that unlocks this hidden layer of meaning.
Okay, so what's the meaning?
Well, Tir na Nog, it's the mythical land of eternal youth in Irish folklore.
Okay.
It's, a realm of perpetual creativity and, it's an escape from the ordinary world.
Ah.
So
no.
by including this detail that you can't actually see,
Yeah.
Camblin, he's hinting at something more
Oh, I see.
than just the literal rooftops.
So it's deeper.
It's deeper. It's almost like, he's inviting us into his own Tir na Nog.
His own little haven.
Yeah, his artistic haven.
So we've got these Parisian rooftops, a hidden studio,
Yay.
a connection to Celtic mythology, all in one painting.
All in one painting.
That's kind of a lot to take in.
It is.
And one of the sources goes even further.
Oh.
It explicitly connects Montmartre to, get this, Zen philosophy.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, okay.
Okay, well, this connection, it really is crucial, I think,
Yeah.
to understanding what Camblin's going for, his intent, the painting. It makes you appreciate those little details of everyday life.
Yeah.
Like the Zen idea of finding significance in the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
The rooftops, they might seem, kind of boring at first glance,
Right.
but then they become this whole landscape, for contemplation.
Yeah.
And that hidden studio,
Yeah.
it symbolizes humility. It's tucked away
Yeah.
amidst this grand cityscape.
It's like, like he's saying, look closer, pay attention. There's
Yeah.
beauty in the unexpected.
Absolutely. And, that ties back into the Mouche's Volantes,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because he's asking us to engage,
Yeah.
to find meaning in those seemingly simple dots and dashes.
It's not simple at all, though.
Right, exactly.
It's very complex. It's like he's merging the form and the philosophy.
Well, yes.
And challenging us to look beyond the surface. Deeper. Yeah. Into the deeper layers of meaning.
Yeah.
And it goes even further, okay? It extends further than that.
Really?
He often signed his work as anonymous.
Hold on.
Anonymous.
He put all this thought, all this skill,
Mhm.
into these incredible pieces.
I know.
And then doesn't even take credit.
That's what I'm saying.
It might seem counterintuitive, but, I think it actually speaks volumes
Okay.
about his philosophy.
What do you mean?
It's like instead of focusing on the ego,
Yeah.
on the individual,
Yeah.
he's highlighting the art itself,
Right.
allowing it to exist on its own, independent of a name,
Wow.
a reputation.
That's huge.
It's a powerful statement.
Especially now, like in a world where everybody's like, me, look at me. It's all about branding.
Yeah, and, it's like he's getting at this deeper understanding, I think, of the creative process.
Okay.
It's a rejection of the need for external validation.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, the true value, it lies in the art itself.
In the experience,
Yeah.
not in the signature.
So it's not just like a quirky thing.
Yeah.
It's like a statement.
It's a deliberate statement.
It's about art,
Yeah.
about creativity.
It's about the ego.
The ego.
It's like, he's challenging the whole idea of authorship,
Whoa.
inviting us to engage with the art on its own terms without the baggage.
Without knowing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's one of the most fascinating things about Camblin.
Yeah.
He's constantly pushing boundaries, blurring lines,
Yeah.
challenging how we see things.
Art perception.
And not just visually.
But philosophically, too.
He's bringing us into this world where art is more than, just a pretty picture.
It is, yeah. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
It's an exploration.
An adventure.
A journey.
Yeah.
A journey of discovery.
It is.
Oh.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's like he's saying that art should just, stand on its own.
Right.
Like free from, all the weight of his identity.
Right.
And that idea of anonymity, I mean, it really does make you think about like the whole creative process differently, doesn't it?
It does.
It's almost like a Zen approach to art.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a fascinating parallel, and Zen philosophy really emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things.
Right.
The idea that individual identity is ultimately an illusion.
Yeah.
And by removing his name, it's like Camblin's embracing that.
Yeah.
Dissolving the boundaries between the artist and the art,
Right.
the creator and the creation.
So like he's saying, it's not about me. It's about the art. It's about the experience.
Yeah.
And that really resonates with what we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
about, the viewer becoming a co-creator of the meaning.
Right.
Like Camblin stepping aside.
Yes.
To make space.
Creating space.
Yeah, to create space for the viewer to really fully engage with the art without preconceived notions.
Without the artist's personality. Even.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like he's not dictating what it means.
No.
He's inviting us to discover it.
Yes.
And this open-ended approach,
Right.
it's reflected in the mouches volantes as well.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
It's like those dots and dashes. They're
Yeah.
like these fleeting glimpses.
Yeah.
And they require us, the viewer, to fill in those gaps.
Yeah, it's like, here are the building blocks. Now you build the world.
Yeah.
It's so different from the traditional way of thinking about the artist as the sole authority.
Right.
The master who presents a finished product and we just admire it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He's challenging that hierarchy.
Yeah.
And he's inviting us into this more collaborative thing.
Yeah.
With the art. And this sense of collaboration, it extends beyond just like the individual viewer.
Okay.
He's engaging with artists who came before him.
Ah, right.
Remember how we were talking about Montmartre fitting into this tradition of Parisian rooftop paintings?
Right, yeah.
It's like he's acknowledging that artistic creation is a dialogue.
Yeah.
It's a conversation that keeps going.
Yeah.
It spans generations.
And that's another thing that I find so interesting about his work, the
Mhm.
way that he blends, all these different influences.
Yeah.
From European art movements to Celtic mythology
Right.
to Zen. It's like a truly global perspective.
It is.
It reflects his own, nomadic journey.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And it speaks to this belief that he seems to have in the universality of art.
Mm-hmm.
Its ability to just transcend cultural boundaries,
Yeah.
and connect with viewers on this, fundamental human level.
And it's not just, one style or one tradition. It's
Oh, yeah.
he's drawing from this huge well of inspiration
Absolutely.
and weaving it all together to create something, totally new.
Yeah.
It's like he's making this visual language
Yeah.
that speaks to, something deep inside us.
Yeah.
Regardless of our background,
Yeah.
our experience.
Exactly.
And it's a testament to the power of art.
Yeah, its ability to communicate, in ways that words just can't.
Right.
It's a reminder that, art isn't just about how it looks.
Right.
It's about ideas.
Yeah.
It's about emotions. It's about, the search for meaning.
Yeah.
And Camblin, through his, unique style and his whole philosophical approach, he's inviting us to go on that search with him.
It's like he's giving us a map.
Yeah.
But it's a map with blank spaces.
Right.
And he's like, you fill it in.
Yeah, you explore.
Explore the unknown.
And that's what makes it so compelling,
Yeah.
It's not just what you see, it's what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you think.
Yeah.
It's what you discover.
In yourself.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to you, the listener.
Yes.
We've explored, Camblin's life, his style,
Right.
his philosophy.
His approach to art.
But now we want to hear from you.
What do you think
What resonates with you the most?
about his work?
What questions does it bring up for you?
Take a moment.
Yeah.
Just think about what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself, you're standing in front of a Camblin painting.
Yeah.
Those dots, those dashes, just swirling in front of you.
What do you see?
Yeah, what do you feel
What secrets are hiding in there?
in those layers of paint,
Yeah.
in those layers of meaning?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is amazing how a single work of art can spark so many different thoughts and feelings.
Oh, it's true.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes Camblin so unique.
Mm.
He doesn't just create these beautiful images. It's like he creates these whole experiences, conversations, journeys.
Absolutely. And that's something we can all take away from him, I think.
Yeah.
This idea that art is not passive.
Right.
It's, it's an active engagement
Yeah.
with the world. with ourselves,
Yeah.
with the ideas and emotions that connect us.
Right, right.
He challenges us to look closer,
Yeah.
to think more deeply.
To question. To
Yeah.
question what we think we know.
Yeah.
To find our own meaning
Right.
in those layers.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving us permission to explore.
To experiment.
Yeah, to experiment, to embrace the unknown. And I mean, that's a pretty powerful message, right?
It is, especially in a world that can feel, I don't know, so defined, so structured.
Right, so predictable.
Predictable, yeah.
Like we've got it all figured out.
Right, exactly.
And he's like, no, you don't.
And it's like, nope, there's more.
There's always more to discover. There's always more to learn.
Yeah.
There's always more to feel. And that's what makes art so vital.
So important.
It's essential, really, to the human experience.
It is.
It helps us step outside ourselves,
Yeah.
connect with something bigger,
Yeah.
to find meaning
Yeah.
and beauty, even in those unexpected places.
And sometimes I think those the most profound discoveries,
Yeah.
they happen when we're willing to let go of, what we think we know.
Right, like our assumptions.
Yeah, to embrace the ambiguity.
Stay present
Just be present. Yeah.
with the art.
Let it speak to you.
Yeah, on its own terms.
And I think that's when the magic happens.
Right, the magic happens
Yeah.
when we let ourselves be surprised.
Yeah, challenged
Just transformed.
by what we see.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not about finding the right answer.
right.
It's about opening ourselves up to the possibilities.
The multiple layers.
The layers, yeah, that's it. The layers of meaning. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Bob Camblin,
Mhm.
I want to encourage you, the listener, to keep exploring, to keep that sense of curiosity alive.
Yeah, don't lose that spark.
Keep it going. Seek out his art.
Yeah.
Let those dots and dashes just, dance before your eyes.
Let them swirl.
Yeah, let them swirl. And see what happens.
See what you discover.
Allow yourself to, get lost in it.
Yeah, the mystery. Embrace the unknown.
Yeah.
And find your own connection
Yeah.
to this, brilliant enigmatic artist.
Because ultimately, I think the best way to understand Bob Camblin is to experience him.
Yeah.
To experience his art.
To let it wash over you.
Yeah, to let it spark your imagination. To leave you with that sense of wonder.
Yeah, to leave you wanting more.
And who knows, maybe you'll find a little bit of yourself reflected back.
Yeah.
In those swirling dots.
In those dashes.
In those glimpses of a world beyond.
A world beyond the ordinary.
A world beyond the ordinary.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.
Keep those creative sparks flying.
That's a wrap on another deep dive.